Guys, I got out of jury duty. Or I didn't get out of it, but... So I'll tell this story. I had to like go early, right? Like you're required to go early. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, am I really gonna... Maybe they don't need me, I don't know. I was like, I was telling people, I told my friends, I was like, dude, I'm just not gonna do this and like pay the fine. And they're like, no, you will go to jail. And I was like, shit. Okay, so then I go, okay? I went to like the place, but I was like late, you know, and I was super late. And I walked in there and it was packed. A lot of crimes are getting committed, I guess. And I go up to the dude and I was like, you know, hey, I'm here to do jury duty. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, you know, we don't need you. Your jury duty is completed. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're good. And I asked, I was like, am I good? And he's like, yeah, you're good. And I was like, oh, sick. And these guys must have been pissed, right? Because it's like quiet. Everyone's just sitting down. The room's packed. I come in and, you know, I wasn't exactly like talking quietly, right? I wasn't like shouting, but they definitely heard me go like, hey, so like I'm supposed to do a thing. And then they definitely heard the other guy, the clerk, go like, oh, okay, well, we don't need you. So your jury duty is completed. You're good to go. Do you have a parking pass that I can stamp? And I was like, oh yeah, here. And then he's like, and I was like, am I good? And he was like, yeah, you're good. And I was literally out the door. I wasn't even there for 5 minutes. And those people must have been pissed. And why I think that they're pissed and why I think you need to do your civic duty, okay? Everyone needs to do their part, you know? I provide valuable entertainment to thousands of people, okay? That's like some people, they're doctors. You should do your civic duty, and I encourage you to. It's an invaluable experience to be a part of a greater good, right? But I literally think the reason why I got like, I didn't get excused. Like I showed up and they didn't need me. It's because, I think it's literally because, listen, for the record, Magni Desmond was prepared to show up and give the guilty verdict. Right? I was prepared, but I think the reason why they told me I was good is because I was late, and by the time I got there, the room was packed. I think the clerk at the time was like, oh, like we just have enough people. And you know, I wasn't like causing a fuss. I wasn't angry. Like I showed up, I was amicable. I was like, oh, hi there, you know, like, oh, sorry, I was a little late. I was a little confused, which I was. And I was like, so, you know, but I'm here, I'm ready. You know, what do I need to do? And I think he was just like, we don't need, like, he must have thought like, oh, we don't need this guy. And he just like let me go, right? And so I think the other people were literally punished for being on time. I literally think that if I had shown up at the appropriate time, they would have like, I would maybe like had been there all day. No, it's not corrupt. I didn't say anything. I didn't try to get out of it. If I would try to get out of it, I wouldn't have like gone. And like, if I wanted to get out of it, I had already like gone all the way over there. You know, I was prepared. It's just my natural charisma, bro. Listen, I think if I had called in, you know, and I waited on the line and like gotten some like telephone person, they'd been like, what is this guy trying to like get out of his, and they would have like tried to F me over, right? But because I like showed up and I was just like, yeah, you know, I'm here, I'm sorry, like I don't really know what's going on. Like, I think he was just like, okay, like this guy showed up, like, oh, you're good, you know what I mean? Now, I in no way advocate that you do that, and I didn't do it on purpose. In hindsight, I can explain it to you and tell you what happened. But if you do that, like, with the intention, I think you could like go to prison, bro. Like, I'm not even kidding. And it'll go on like your like permanent record. Seriously. Don't try to do what I did. Like, you will go to jail. I just did it. And like I was not trying to do anything. I just went prepared, and it just happened to work out that way. Okay? Listen, Magni Desmond doesn't show up on like the DMV's like resident list, but you will. They'll get you. They're gonna be like, man, you can't be like Magni Desmond. They're gonna be like, who the hell are you talking about? Okay, don't do that. You're gonna get in trouble. You'll go to jail. Okay, can I be honest? My jury duty story isn't finished. So, you know, it's like people don't want to get sick, and there's a lot of people stuff in that room. So there's a plexiglass in between the clerk. Okay. and me. And we're both wearing masks. And I'll be honest, I could not really hear what he said. He was like, and I was like putting my ear up. Your jury duty will be complete. And I swear I thought I heard him say like, your jury duty will be completed. And I was like, and I don't know why. You know, you just get anxious and I don't know. And then, but then I did hear him say this, do you have a parking ticket? And I was like, oh yes, I do. And I just inferred, I was like, oh, if he's asking for my parking ticket and he like validated it, right? And I was like, oh, I must be good, right? And then he handed it back to me. He didn't say anything. And then so I said, am I good? No, I didn't say that. I said, so am I good? And he goes, yep, you're good. And he gave me a thumbs up, right? And I kind of just assumed that I was okay, right? No, you're right. Maybe I misheard him. And I was thinking that as I was on my way out, but I just didn't want to like whatever. And you know, everyone in the room had like a name tag with like their like number or whatever. And he did not, and I saw the name tag printer on his desk. Like I said, am I good? And he goes, you're good. And he like just didn't say anything, looked at me, you know, kind of prompting that like the conversations ended. So I thought like, oh, if I needed to stay, he would have printed out a name badge for me, right? And so I was like, I'm definitely good. And I just like left. I don't know. I should have, like, I get it, right? In hindsight, it's easy for everyone to say, you should have just asked him to repeat what he said. But you guys know how conversations go. You just like, it just didn't feel right. Like, I just didn't, you know what I mean? But I went online and there's like an online system and the status had been changed and mine said jury duty has been completed until you're called like for the next time. And I was like, bada bing, bada boom. But definitely in the car on the way back to my home, I was like very anxious and I was like, man, what was I should have just turned around and asked him to repeat it. Like, I don't know why I didn't. I was like, why didn't I just ask him what he said to me? I don't know why I did that. And I was just anxious all the way back. But I checked the computer and it said it was definitely changed because prior, you know, it said like, oh, you gotta show up or whatever. Like, so I'm good.